If you're looking to level up your credit card game, earning hundreds or thousands of dollars, or traveling like this, or this, then you've probably considered the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And if you haven't, then you probably should, but not before watching this video to learn the key things to consider and hear my experiences and mistakes so you don't make them. Okay, so why is this card so popular in the first place? Well, I think it's because it's a great bridge and middle ground between your entry-level cards and your more premium cards with ultra-high annual fees, while still giving you the best of both worlds. And it does so by being very approachable and offers enough value and flexibility for most people's lifestyles. Because if we just take a look at the welcome bonus, you'll earn 60,000 points when you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months. And because Chase Ultimate Reward points have a baseline value of 1 cent per point when redeemed for cashback, that means the welcome bonus is equivalent to $600 back into your pocket. Meaning even with the $95 annual fee, in the first year with the card, you're still going to be positive $505. But even better, Chase has historically had higher offers giving 80 or 100,000 points, as well as waiving the first year annual fee, which would make this deal that much better. That said, there are a few other redemption values that can really boost the value of that welcome bonus. For example, redeeming for travel through the portal will give you a 25% boost in value, giving your 60,000 points a value of $750. Or going through one of Chase's travel partners to get a range of value, usually averaging upwards of 2 cents per point, which would value your welcome bonus at over $1,200, but more on that later. Of course, on to year 2, you won't have that welcome bonus anymore, but what you will have is a $50 statement credit towards hotel stays when booked through the portal, meaning if you stay at least once or twice at a hotel every year, then you can probably make use of this credit and bring the annual fee down from $95 to an effective $45. But remember, in the first year, you were positive over $500 because of the welcome bonus, so you technically be in the positive for many years to come. In my case, I'm going on to year 6 with the card, meaning I've paid almost $500 in annual fees, and even if we disregard all other perks, I'm probably just now breaking even from the welcome bonus value I got in the first year. But of course, the welcome bonus is not the only place that you get value from the card, because the card does come with some categories where you'll get elevated points on when you spend in them. For starters, you'll get 5 times points when you book travel through the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, excluding hotel purchases that you use your $50 credit on, which is a point that's not really talked about that much, but can be significant. Say you booked a hotel night for $300 and you decided to use the credit. Sure, you save $50 from the credit, but that $300 would have given you 1,500 points given the 5 times multiplier, which would be valued at least $15, but could be double that or more given other redemption values, meaning that $50 credit is actually a little less than it seems. That said, one mistake on my part is forgetting to use that $50 credit and leaving money on the table. And that's because probably in some cases I just literally forgot, or I booked through some discount travel sites, or I'm focusing too much on other credits on my other cards like the $200 hotel credit on my Amex Platinum or the $300 travel credit on my Venture X card. So if you really want to maximize the value you get from all of your cards, make sure you don't let your credits just go to waste. However, when it comes to dining, I've almost always used my Chase Sapphire Preferred card, given it has a 3 times multiplier both for dining in and takeout, including eligible delivery, as well as 3 times on online groceries. Looking at the fine print, however, do know that food and beverage spots inside stadiums, hotels, grocery stores, department stores, and more won't count, as well as bakeries and meal kit services. But then for online groceries, it does include meal kit delivery services, as well as orders placed online for delivery or pickup at grocery stores, which do not include wholesales like Walmart and Target. You'll then also earn 3 times points on select streaming services, which include your favorites like Apple Music, Disney+, Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube TV. Lastly, the category I probably used most when I initially got the card would be general travel, where you'll get 2 times points on spend across a variety of categories, from airlines and hotels to travel agencies agencies and buses, but exclude in-flight goods, sightseeing, excursions, and tourist attractions. And then of course 1x points on all other spend. Remember, because you're earning points on a lot of these categories, say getting 3x points back, that means at minimum you could convert that back into cash back, giving you the 3% equivalent. But you also have the flexibility to redeem in other ways, like getting a 25% boost when booking travel through their portal, or upwards of double the value when using travel partners. And so if we take all of that into account, all the categories that we talked about actually get boosted in terms of the actual value you get in return, which you can check out in this chart over here that you can pause to read, but shows the multipliers and the actual value you get depending on your redemption method. Then as you're spending and spending, at the end of the year, you're actually going to get an anniversary bonus equal to 10% of your spend that year. So spend $25,000 in the year, get 2,500 points. Honestly, it sounds way better than it actually is, because in my opinion, it doesn't really make a major difference, and all the other perks and benefits really outshine this by a mile. Alright, so throughout the 5.5 years with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, it's earned me a ton of points, probably upwards of 300,000 points at least. And what I like about these points, and the reason I believe Chase points are one of the best point currencies out there, is because of the great flexibility that it provides you. Because unlike Amex that will give you 0.6 cents per point for cashback, or 0.5 cents per point when you're redeeming cashback for Capital One points, Chase will give you a baseline of 1 cent per point when you're redeeming for cashback. Meaning if I really wanted to, I could have cashed out those 300,000 points for $3,000 back into my pocket. And that's option one, where you don't really care about travel at all and you really just want a good return for the easiest amount of work. Option two would be an elevated 1.25 cents per point when you're redeeming through Pay Yourself Back or travel through the Chase portal. Through the Pay Yourself Back program a long time ago, you could redeem points towards dining or Airbnb, but nowadays only includes charities, which really limits the usage of that perk. But the slightly elevated 1.25 cents per point towards travel through the portal is not bad for people who don't want to put in the work to find availability through travel partners or other means, but still want some slightly outsized value for their points. Which brings me to my next mistake. Maybe I should have gotten the Chase Sapphire Reserve instead, because according to the terms, you can only have one Sapphire card. So it was either the Reserve or the Preferred that I of course got. And if I had gotten the Reserve, yes, it has a higher $550 annual fee, but it has a $300 travel credit every year, which is by far the easiest to use in the industry, which brings down the annual fee to an effective $250. And that card would have come with a more rare priority pass access that comes with non-lounge benefits. Because I've mainly been using the American Express app to look for priority pass locations at airports, and because that version of priority pass does not include restaurants, I never realized that in my home airport there are 2 restaurants I would have qualified for if I had the Chase Sapphire Reserve, each of them allowing up to 1 guest and covering $56 between the 2 of us. Given the lines at lounges nowadays, having the option of real food and drinks from restaurants could have been worth it and helped cover the part of the annual fee. Then there are the partner benefits. Technically, I already don't use the GoPuff and Instacart credits on my Preferred, so those would already be a waste. But the $5 a month for DoorDash credit would definitely be used, giving a value of $60 a year and getting exclusive pricing on Lyft Pink, but not sure how much that would save me. So lesson here is to not overlook the not as advertised perks on your cards, because using them can really add up. The Reserve also has a higher multiplier for some categories like travel, but the 1 extra point hasn't really bothered me that much. But another thing with the second redemption option on the Reserve card is that the Pay Yourself Back categories gives you 1.25 cents at gas stations, groceries, and annual memberships, along with 1.5 cents per point for charities and 1.5 cents per point when you're booking travel through the portal. So if that's you and you prefer to use your points in this way, that extra elevated value could be worth more than the extra annual fee. But personally, that wouldn't really be a perk for me, because I'm the type of person who really wants to maximize the value of my points, and so prefer to do option 3, which is to transfer my points over the travel partners and redeem for outsized value that way. An ability that exists for both Sapphire cards and what I've I've done to book a major trip later this year. Now, there are 11 airline partners and 3 hotel partners, but not all of them are created equal. There are a lot of different unique ways to get some amazing value for these different partners, but the few that really stand out to me are Aeroplan, World of Hyatt, and Virgin Atlantic. First, Aeroplan. Because Aeroplan is part of Star Alliance, you can book flights on some top-tier airlines like ANA or EVA for some very reasonable points. Sometimes as low as 55,000 points each way in business class, or more commonly 75,000 points depending on the distance. And that's exactly what I did, booking a trip from the West Coast over to Taiwan and Japan for 75,000 points flying business class on EVA, as well as tacking on 5,000 more points for an extra stopover as part of the trip, meaning 160,000 points round trip in business class. On top of that, from time to time, Chase will have transfer bonuses to some select programs, and I was fortunate enough to cash the 30% bonus offered to Aeroplan, meaning instead of 160,000 Chase points, I only needed to transfer over 123,000. And because that round trip flight would have costed me $6,000 to $7,000 per ticket, that pinned the value of my points at over 5 cents per point, far exceeding the 2 cents per point average that we usually talk about. Next, World of Hyatt. This is probably the most popular transfer partner, given the way they do their redemptions based on hotel categories and a narrow range of points. For example, you can get anywhere from 2 to 4 cents per point at a few nice hotels in New York with some decent availability. Or if you're really interested in these things like I am, really breaking down your different options and value you get for different hotels in the cities that you're going to. Like for Japan, I went through the different options I had and checked the prices and availability for some of the hotels in Tokyo, seeing which ones would give me at least 2 cents per point in value that my Chase points are worth. Note that all of these options do have availability for the dates that I'm going to for at least a 3 to 4 day range. And then there's of course Virgin Atlantic, which has some sweet spots like flying Delta One to Europe for 50,000 points, or for 110,000 points flying first class on ANA to Japan if you can find the availability. But redemptions aside, I think another mistake that I've made with this card is really just not getting rid of it sooner. Thinking back to the last year or two, I haven't really been spending much on the card given my focus on other cards like the Venture X or my new Chase cards. And because I've made other mistakes of not always using the $50 hotel credit or maximizing the partner benefits, I've been paying the annual fee out of pocket for the last couple of years for little to no use. And so instead, right when I knew I wouldn't be using the card much anymore, I should have downgraded it to one of the no annual fee Chase Freedom Flex or Freedom Unlimited cards, which would help me preserve my card history, my points, and prevent me from needing to pay annual fees. Then whenever I needed it again, I could have product changed back up, or because I'm past the 48 months, I'm eligible for another welcome bonus. That said, having the Chase Freedom cards is also not a bad idea given the amount of value it gives for a no annual fee card, like getting 5 times points on groceries or PayPal, which is why you'll want to learn more about the Chase Trifecta over in this video, and I'll see you over there.